My friend, everybody in Philadelphia celebrated. Social media exploded with joy. The fans breathed a sigh of relief, and the franchise projected the image that everything was settled, everything at peace, everything under control. A giant contract was signed on the very first day of training camp, locking up one of the team's biggest stars for many years. But there's one thing almost nobody stopped to think about in the middle of all this party. Every dollar that goes into a star's pocket is a dollar that stops existing for another player. And that's exactly what happened. At the very moment the Pens signed that paper, a time bomb was planted inside the locker room. Because that contract didn't just secure the future of one man. It practically condemned the future of others. And one of those players happens to be a former first-round pick who now runs a real risk of being left behind. The truth is that this story has a dark side that the euphoria of the moment is hiding. And it's that side that nobody is talking about with the clarity it deserves. If you're a die-hard Eagles fan, hit that like button right now and subscribe to the channel. Because understanding this math is understanding who Philadelphia will be able to keep and who the franchise will be forced to sacrifice in the coming years. This isn't drama for the sake of it. It isn't an exaggeration. It's pure math, and math never forgives. Let me explain to you exactly why all this joy comes with a hidden price. Let's start with the fact that practically every fan already knows. The Eagles signed Jalen Carter, the brilliant defensive tackle, to a contract extension. A monstrous deal of 4 years and $152 million, potentially reaching $160 million, with no less than $106 million guaranteed, keeping him in Philadelphia through the 2031 season. With that, Carter became the highest-paid defensive tackle in the history of the league, at an average of $38 million per year, surpassing Tennessee veteran Jeffrey Simmons, who had reset that market just a few months earlier. And it's no exaggeration at all to say that Carter deserves every penny. He was the 9th overall pick of the 2023 draft, is already a 2-time Pro Bowler, a Super Bowl champion, and has become one of the most dominant interior players in the entire league, the kind who draws a double team on almost every play. Signing him on the first day of camp was the way the front office found to avoid any drama and keep him from ever testing the market as a free agent. And here's the detail that changes everything. Carter isn't alone on that payroll. The other starting tackle, Jordan Davis, also signed his extension this offseason, pocketing $26 million per year. Add the two things together, and you have $64 million committed to just 2 players at the same position. It's a breathtaking number. And that's precisely where the problem begins, because when you pay that much for 2 names, there's very little room left for everyone else. And the first one to feel the blow has a name: Moro Ojomo. Moro Ojomo is the perfect picture of the ruthless machine the Eagles have built. He was a 7th-round pick, practically a cheap gamble, and turned into an excellent pass-rushing defensive tackle, becoming one of the big standouts of the defense last season. The player raised his value, grew, showed that he deserves to be very well paid, and that's exactly why he's probably leaving. Since Ojomo becomes a free agent after this season, and since he could land something in the neighborhood of $20 million per year on the market, the Eagles simply are not going to pay for a 3rd defensive tackle in that price range. It's not going to happen. Milton Williams himself lived through this same script last year, when the front office basically told him to go get his money somewhere else. And he did, pocketing $26 million per year with the Patriots. But if you think Ojomo's case is the big controversy of this story, hold on tight, because the real drama is even more painful and involves a player the fan base embraced with all its heart. And here enters the name that truly sets this debate on fire: Nolan Smith. Pay very close attention to this math, because it's cruel. On top of Carter's $38 million and Davis's $26 million, the Eagles are also paying another pillar of the defensive line, the edge rusher Jonathan Greenard, who takes home $24,500,000 per year. All of this, my friend, happened in a single offseason. And the consequence is mathematical. The Eagles only have the financial breathing room to give real money, something above $10 million per year, to one more single player on that defensive line. Just one. And the 2 names fighting for that last golden spot are precisely Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt. But there's a huge problem hovering over Nolan Smith. He was a first-round pick, but so far he has never truly lived up to the size of that expectation. Add to that a string of injuries over the past few years, and even a speeding arrest, and you have a player surrounded by question marks about his own future. He's a good player, nobody disputes that, But good is not the same thing as indispensable, and that's where the ground starts to give way beneath his feet. Think about the painful irony of it. The same first-round pick status that was once a source of pride now becomes a burden, because precisely for having been picked so early, his contract is too expensive for a player who hasn't yet proven to be a central piece of the defense. It's the kind of situation where a glorious past works against the present, and the comparison with Jalen Hurts makes everything even more delicate for Nolan's side. Just look at the size of the difference. In 2027, Hunt is going to cost only $1,790,000, while Nolan Smith will pocket $13,800,000 because of the fifth-year option on his contract. It's a brutal difference, almost a chasm. And to top it off, the two become free agents at exactly the same time, after the 2027 season. In other words, the Eagles are going to have to choose who to bet their chips on. And by pure money logic, with Greenard already locked in on the other side, if Hunt repeats a season as good as the one he had last year, he's the one who probably gets that extension first. And the moment the Eagles decide to pay Hunt, my friend, is the moment Nolan Smith's future in Philadelphia hangs by a thread. Right now, the market's bet is clearly on Hunt. Nolan still has 2 seasons ahead of him to turn this game around. But one thing is certain. This year is absolutely decisive for him. If Nolan Smith finally breaks out and delivers that jaw-dropping season, the whole conversation changes shape. But if he doesn't do that, the clock keeps ticking against him. Now, to be fair and transparent, we need to present the other side of this story, because none of this is written in stone. First, the Eagles are going to need depth in the pass rush in 2027, and that's a point in Nolan's favor, because it would make all the sense in the world to keep both Hunt and Smith to form a 3-man rotation with Greenard, instead of simply discarding one of them. Second, an expensive contract does not mean an automatic cut. Nolan Smith can perfectly well play the 2027 season at the value of his 5th-year option, doing his job without anyone needing to send him away. Third, it has to be acknowledged that we're talking about projections and trends, not decisions already made. A single standout season can completely flip the game, and NFL history is full of players who silenced the critics right when it mattered. And fourth, at the end of the day, having this kind of problem is a sign of strength, not weakness. Having defensive tackles and edge rushers too good to pay them all means the front office did a brilliant job of recruiting. It's the famous good problem to have, even if it breaks the heart of the fan who gets attached to the players. So now I turn it over to you, the one who truly understands this team. After all of this, do you think the Eagles did the right thing by locking up Carter with that giant contract, even knowing it might cost the retention of beloved names like Nolan Smith and Moro Ojomo? If you were in charge, who would you bet your chips on for the last big defensive line extension? The talented and expensive Nolan Smith, or the cheap and promising Jalen Hurts? And tell me one thing, do you believe Nolan Smith still has the explosive season he needs to save his future in Philadelphia, or is his ship already sinking? Drop your opinion down here in the comments, because I read every single one of them. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to follow closely all the tough decisions waiting for the Eagles. And I'll be back later to update you with the latest news out of Philadelphia.